Hey everyone, Cinephile Mike here, and happy Friday if you are joining me on posting day. Hope everyone has been able to check out some great flicks in the theater. Welcome back to Oscar Rewind 2024 edition, my bi-weekly series of videos where I revisit films that reflect the earlier work of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. As always, I'll be discussing the awards season history for the film, the box office information, the critical response, and as always, these reviews are spoiler free. You can find all older episodes on the YouTube channel or at my website, cinephilemike.com. So, we are moving on with more week. Gimme more, gimme more. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. But one last one. More you shall have as I discuss New Line Cinema's ensemble drama 1999's Magnolia. Written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, Magnolia marked the director's third feature film following his Oscar nominated look at the 70s adult film world Boogie Nights. Closing out the 90s, Magnolia was released in December of 1999. Now, the film had a domestic box office take of $22,455,976 and a total international box office take of $25,995,827, which includes a small $1,738 take from a 2021 re release in Australia, giving it a worldwide total of $48,453,541. Now, unfortunately, this was not a super strong return as the reported budget was 37 million, which may not include all of the marketing costs, which was unlike Boogie Nights' similar box office, but that budget was less than half of this one. Now, critically, the film closely aligns with an 82% critical rating made up of 216 reviews and an 89% audience score made up from over 100,000 ratings. So, why Magnolia is here. Well, believe it or not, it's not for anyone in this stacked cast, which includes the likes of obviously Julianne Moore, Tom Cruise, Philip Seymour Hoffman, William H. Macy, and John C. Riley. All Oscar winners or nominees in their own respect, amongst so many others. But the reason this film is here actually is for the sound. And sound plays an interesting part in this film, especially in one scene, which I'll talk about a little later. So, the reason that Magnolia lands on Rewind is for Richard King, who has been working in sound since the 1980s and has 4 Oscar wins out of a total 8 nominations. Magnolia marked the first time in his career that he pulled double duty as both sound designer and supervising sound editor. This past year, he did both of those jobs on not one Oscar nominated film, but 2. So he received 2 of the Best Sound nominations this year for his work with his team on Maestro and Oppenheimer. Now, while he wasn't nominated for Magnolia, that's not one of the 8, though I do believe it should have been. Magnolia did have its own award season history. Magnolia received 3 Oscar nominations. One was for Anderson for Best Original Screenplay, one for Amy Mann for Best Original Song Save Me, and she played more inspiration for this film than you may know, and I'll get into that. And the third was for Tom Cruise, who was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Now, Cruise won this category at the Golden Globes, and Mann was also nominated in her respective category. Cruise and Moore were both nominated for their supporting performances at the SAG Awards, as was the whole cast for Best Ensemble. It was a Critics' Choice nominee for Best Picture, and where the film had its biggest success was by the National Board of Review, where it won 4 awards. It was recognized as the Best Picture of the Year, Best Acting by an Ensemble, and both Moore and Philip Seymour Hoffman won Best Supporting Actress and Supporting Actor, respectively. And all of this in addition to varied festival and critic nominations and wins. Now, what is this film about? It's about a lot. Magnolia features a large ensemble cast that weaves a very interconnected web that all plays over the course of one day. Now, I'll do my best in my summary to outline a little bit of the various subplots and leave the mystery of the interconnectedness to you, my faithful viewer. Because that is part of the fun of this film itself, so that you can have those oh moments. So, our first revolves around a police officer, Jim, played by John C. Riley, who isn't the greatest at his job, but he tries, and through a series of events will become entangled with a coke snorting and rather promiscuous Claudia, played by Melora Walters. Our next revolves around the former kid genius, the lovingly named Quiz Kid Donnie Smith, played by William H. Macy, who has fallen on some hard times, works in an electronics store, and needs money for dental surgery. The only reason for this dental surgery is he wants to impress an individual that he is crushing on, and he will do whatever he needs to get said crush and said funding. Then we have the tale of the Partridge Family. Nope, not the one you're thinking of, but of Earl, played by Jason Robards, a television producer, Linda, played by Julianne Moore, his trophy wife, second wife, trophy wife, and the hospice nurse Phil, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, who cares for Earl as his time is measured and all he wants is to be reunited with his son. While Linda is going to have a breakdown, not knowing how to handle what's happening and have a little growth moment amongst all of this crisis. Okay, are we done yet? Not quite. And then we have to get to that episode of What Do Kids Know, where longtime host Jimmy Gator, played by Philip Baker Hall, who, while dealing with some health and personal issues, has to get through today's show featuring the new quiz kid Stanley Spector, played by Jeremy Blackman, who has more on his mind than the game show. And we will see how that one plays out in a way that will make you truly sympathetic for this young man. And finally, the reflective journey of one Frank T.J. Mackey, played by Cruz, a motivational speaker for men who have no confidence in getting women. He will deal with an uncomfortable interview that will cause him to dredge up his past. And those are our plots. Now, while this seems like a lot, there is a lot of good that Anderson does, and he does respectively and respectfully connect all of these within the film's 3-hour runtime. It's also worth noting that Oscar nominee Amy Mann, who wrote 2 original songs for the film, also had several others featured, as her music was actually the inspiration for Anderson to write this film. Several lyrics of Mann's songs are featured as dialogue, and there's almost a musicality to this film, playing like an album with different plots and topics coming in and out, some as, lighthearted as First Love, and some as heavy as, dealing with illness, disease, and death. And all of this will crescendo to a quite interesting moment in the film where all of the cast in their respective places start singing the lyrics to her song Wise Up, originally written for a different film that speaks to the morals that are needed and the things that we need to do. Anderson crafts a clever story that will result in a final act that includes a very unique, let's say, shower that will make everything come to light. And for want of spoiling, I don't want to go into because it's one of those kind of moments. But it's worth mentioning specifically because the reason Magnolia is here is for the sound, and especially this scene for why this movie landed on Rewind. As these foreign objects that I won't reference come raining down, each time one lands with a fall and a thud, it's like a punch to each character as they realize that things need to change. And to be fair, not everyone is going to make it to the end of this day. Now, this large cast all has a chance to shine, in their respective plot lines. But I have to say, the true standout amongst them is Cruz's larger than life motivational speaker. From his first moment on the screen, he has quite the entrance, and it is easy to see why he grips his audience in the theater, as well as those of us that are watching the film. He exudes all of that charisma that he's known for, and it works so well to sell kind of the absurdity of what we are watching with him. To that end, it's no surprise that he was the award season darling that he was. So, in all, Magnolia is a solid 4-star film for me. It's a film that you may need to watch more than once to get the full Anderson experience, but it's one of those 3-hour journeys that doesn't drag or feel unearned. It actually is. Now, if you would like to watch or rewatch Magnolia, as of this posting, it is streaming with commercials on Pluto TV. Otherwise, it is available for digital rental or purchase. So, there you have it. As always, please click the button and subscribe to the channel and spread the word if you like what you are hearing here. You can follow me on all social media platforms and on Letterboxd, and you can check out my website, cinephilemike.com, for additional exclusive print reviews of all of this summer's new releases. Coming this Sunday, we have the new M. Night Shyamalan experience, Trap. Happy watching, everyone, and until next time, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.